Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. How'd y'all like that intro to our usual discussions on animation? That is right, guys. I've been whipping this up for a while now by voter committee. I sent the community tabs. You voted for this song. This is your contribution too, guys. You voted for We Needed a Hero, and I delivered for you guys. The intro to Anime Spotlight, much same as with the intro of Anime Spotlight, and of course, the Real Millennials intro. So we finally have this one, and coming up, we'll be having an intro for Elevator Pitch. Watch out for that, guys. But today we are talking about the Prime, the one you've been waiting for, that we've been hyping up for a good few months now. X-Men 92, starting with season 1, much like what we did all those years ago when we started this whole thing with X-Men Evolution. I'm here today with the Mead Goddess, our champion of all that is X-Men lore and content, the Mead Goddess, Janelle Penner.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I have an unhealthy obsession with X-Men, and I like to brew alcohol on my free time.
We have the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our part 1 discussion of X-Men 92.
Our pioneer into old school 90s animated movies, shows, what have you. The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hi.
Excuse my wife in the background coughing. She'll be all right though. Don't worry, guys. She's not dying. And I guarantee it's not a certain virus that people won't shut the fuck up about. We have the Warrior of Light, who's also new to this whole shindig. Well, not necessarily new to the whole entire animation spotlight, mind you, but new to the old school Marvel animation. But he is dipping his heels and tasting the sugar. And oh boy, he is in for a sugar high tonight. He is the Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Greetings, YouTube viewers and my fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Space Squadron. And today, we are back with another episode of Animation Spotlight, this time talking about the very start of the Marvel 90s era cartoon, starting with X-Men 1992, Season 1.
Nigger, why you ain't in talk radio?
Oh, good.
You got a radio voice, my brother.
Oh, my God.
Plus a singing voice to boot. Girl should be dripping all over your skin right now.
Oh, my God.
All that good old lady musk.
Hey, Wolf, keep it clean.
Wow,
You're
he's so
disgusting.
spicy.
You know
So
that?
out of left field, man.
Just
Remember, Wolf, I have the spritzer bottle.
To the holy seat with you, Mr. Nanny.
Final
Are you gonna
Anyway.
introduce Leia?
Negro, hold your horses. I'm getting there.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness.
Spacey.
He is on that sugar high. He hyper right now. He excited. That's
I was
good
about
for
to say this because you were too busy talking.
She's been waiting for a long time for this, guys, and you know she's
Oh,
been waiting
God.
for this, and she has been going through the motions with all the other usual stuff that we're into that she's not so privy to, with the animes and the single movies that she ain't never seen.
Okay.
Except for a specific Marvel and People's movie, by the way. But we'll get into that some other time. We are introducing our other resident X-Men lover, the lovely Leia Val, Leia Plus Size.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady Vala, and welcome to celebration and talk of the X-Men TV series. We'll be starting with season 1. And okay, you are just okay. Have your fun, Wolf. Have your fun. Have your fun. You just couldn't help yourself. But we will mostly be concentrating on X-Men season 92, the real official X-Men. I repeat, the real official X-Men 92.
The one and only.
Yes.
Well, just coincidentally that we're doing this in May, because come June, July, Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
My timing is impeccable, y'all. I don't know how this keeps happening to me, guys.
Could it
I
just
really
be
don't.
coincidence?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a happy coincidence, but I'm just saying, like, look, we're just now starting this up, and now suddenly they just dropped the date of Deadpool Wolverine, and that's next month. Coincidence? I think not.
What is this?
So-
It's 2 months away. Yeah.
So like what we always do with the anime spotlights, we will start with our first, well, not necessarily our first question, how we got into it, how we got here, right? So we'll start with Leia.
Oh, okay. Well, as far as Marvel Comics concerned, I've always liked the X-Men characters. They've always been part of my favorites that I've always followed. I've always enjoyed their stories. So when the cartoon came around, I was curious to see what it would be about. And I can tell you from the first season, I really enjoyed what they had done. It was really great to see it go from page to animation, which is usually how some adaptations of a comic book start. Some start with live action or live action TV, or some go straight to film. But this one particularly is just a classic. I've been a fan of it then, I've been a fan of it now. I like the roster of characters they chose to start the show off with. I thought that was a good choice. And overall, even if the show has been off the air, I never stopped being a fan of this animated series. I think it's one of the best animated adaptations of a comic book I think I've ever seen.
Janelle, go ahead
Yes.
and give us your introduction to this series.
My introduction, well, I already was a X-Men fan. I am so old that I remember when Pride of the X-Men came out, and that was my actual first introduction to X-Men.
You know what? Let's start with that. We did I don't mean to cut into you and pause for a bit. We gotta hear your thoughts on Pride of the X-Men, because we did a stream on there, and for retarded me did not ask you first.
Okay, it's definitely cheesier and not as serious as X-Men 92, but it is still fun. I'm probably biased because it has one of my favorite characters in it. I got lucky for X-Men, Pride of the X-Men, and then X-Men 92. I got two of my favorite characters. I got Dazzler in Pride of the X-Men, and I got Gambit in X-Men 92. So it was, like I said, it was cheesy. In hindsight, it's cheesy. I watch it once a year on YouTube because it's so cute. It's definitely not as serious as X-Men 92. You can tell they were taking a totally different approach. According to Ishii, actually, I believe it was Ishii that told me this. The reason the show didn't take off is because they didn't like how people didn't like Kitty Pryde. They thought she was annoying, which kind of blew my mind. I didn't think Kitty Pryde was annoying at all. What I thought was annoying was that Wolverine was Australian. That drove me fucking nuts. When I first saw it, I didn't know, obviously. But when I actually started reading X-Men and then I saw it again, I was like, what is this horse shit? He's Canadian, fucking Australian. Obviously, the show didn't take off, but I do remember the pilot coming up on a Saturday morning cartoon. And then, like, soon after, the X-Men arcade cabinets started coming out, and I would blow on my quarters on that game.
I played that game at Six Flags Magic Mountain one time.
I actually went every time I'd go to a birthday party or an arcade birthday party at an arcade, I never hung out with anybody. I was at that fucking cabinet because I have such an unhealthy obsession.
I had a obsession with Jurassic Park arcade.
My husband had I think he saw that movie 7 times in the theater when it came out.
That and the Star Wars arcade, but I digress. Go on and explain to us how you got into 92.
So then around 1991, I was at a family friend's house and their son was reading X-Men, and it was X-Men #4. I asked to borrow it. I never gave it back. I trashed it horribly. We still laugh about it to this day. But after that, I started reading X-Men, got the comics and everything. And I remember when, I think it was first in the comics, they announced the show was coming out. And I lost my ever flipping mind. And I remember I set an alarm that day that it was premiering. And I sat and I watched the whole hour of Night of the Sentinels Part 1 and Part 2 and was just so happy. I was bummed that there was no Psylocke or Colossus or Archangel, no Nightcrawler, but I had Gambit, so I
As
was
of
cool.
yet.
As of yet, yeah. And so yeah, and that's just, I mean, I actually, like I said, I'm about to age myself again. I would take my parents' blank VHS tapes and I would record the show so I could watch them again later. I had all 5 seasons, even though the 5th season's awful. I had all 5 recorded.
You're not gonna be here for that one, unfortunately, guys. She's only here for 3 seasons. That's in her contract, guys.
I can
Oh,
do
well.
parts of 4 because, I mean, there's some good parts to 4. Nightcrawler, the whole Nightcrawler episode is in season 4. That's how Nightcrawler and Gambit and Rogue become such close buddies.
Yeah, I was going to say I can understand if you can't make it because I personally felt the last 2 seasons of the X-Men was not that good, but there were some good things about it to pick with. So actually, if you didn't make it, I can understand because when I had my Blu-rays, DVD, Blu-rays, whatever I have, I mostly rerun like seasons 1 through 3 a lot.
Yeah, for me, it ends after the Dark Phoenix saga, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's how I thought. After Dark Phoenix saga, I was like, you know,
I mean, they did Age of Apocalypse in season 4, which wasn't bad. You know,
Next person.
all right,
We'll get more into that when we cross that road.
okay.
Dominic, how'd you get into it, Dominic? How'd you discover X-Men? You and I are almost on the same boat. We're millennials.
Mm-hmm. The real millennials.
Thank you.
Well, as a wee little lad, I was introduced to the X-Men, much like everyone else, through Fox Kids. It was with the original Marvel animated universe. I gotta say, like after watching the first season of X-Men, man, well, okay, well, granted, I started watching X-Men like when it was like still ongoing before it ended. But the point is, I was blown away by the characters, besides like Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, along with the other memorable and obscure characters of heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe. They were effectively my gateway into comic books, besides the DC animated universe. And in spite of its few flaws, it has aged really well.
I believe that both Humble and Final have not seen this series, or rather, I think Final saw a few episodes, right? Am I correct?
I've only seen clips, and yes, I've also heard the opening. And I've been trying to find at least a full episode, or just of at least a whole first season of some sorts, but Jesus Christ, even trying to go find the DVDs for this thing is the equivalent of finding a needle in a haystack.
Disney actually licensed out the X-Men animated series, the 92 series, to Amazon again. That's where I have mine. That's how I bought them originally. So if you want, and they're pretty cheap, if you don't mind buying from Amazon, but I'd rather buy from Amazon than Disney.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Amazon. They still get my money.
I went through YouTube.
No.
And how I first got into the X-Men stuff is it was this obscure little cartoon that appeared on the public news stations back when you needed to have the TV Guide channel to figure out what stuff to find at 6 o'clock in the morning on a weekend.
You figured that out way more than me. My illiterate ass back in the days.
I had to share a TV. We were one family with one TV, so I usually did most of my TV watching
Oh, you're that kind of
at the
kid.
odd hours. And I learned that the volume control, you had to change it and then change it back before people found out you spent late nights watching TV. And you'd be amazed at what you could find on KRDO 12 back in the day. I think there was like the Trolls did a TV series that was kind of a junior high thing, and then there was, well, the one thing that was more my jam was I think the the dinosaur cartoons, and of course anime, tons of the Fox Kids anime.
Of course.
Yes. Of course, with me, my introduction to the X-Men was way later down the road, because at the time I was mostly watching the Fantastic Four 90s cartoon, including the Iron Man 90s cartoon. I was already like hooked into that. It was not until later on when they announced the X-Men cartoon alongside Power Rangers.
Oh hell yes, that was the best block ever.
Fox Kids, yes, definitely the best
Yep.
block out of all the blocks on each channel. I was mostly tuning into Fox Kids between
Same here, along with Kids WB.
and even ABC. But the thing is, when they announced X-Men, I'd never even seen. I think I had a few X-Men toys by that time, or a few superhero action figures. What we find lost in the playground, by the way, or just happened to be laying on the sidewalk one time. But when it came out, I was really just into it. I can't recall what episode I saw first. It was not Night of the Sentinels, mind you. We watched that during prime time when they announced that it was going to be shown in prime time next door to Power Rangers Season 2. Anybody remember that event?
The only primetime event I remember for X-Men was the beginning of the Dark Phoenix saga, where the Morlocks get entrapped by a Shi'ar prisoner.
For us,
Yeah, I
And the Reavers show up for the first time.
me,
I
my
remember
brother, my
that event.
mom, my cousins. When they announced that, I was so ready. By that point, I think we were up to the whole Shi'ar and the Dark Phoenix saga series. That's what. But at that primetime event, that's when I got the official episodes, the official two-part episode of Night of the Sentinels. I will say this: X-Men 92 made me fear a lot of things. X-Men. One being the Sentinels and the Phalanx.
Yeah, although the Phalanx in the Marvel animated universe, they were treated differently than how they were in the source material. But we will cross that bridge later on down the line.
I'll tell you
I
what.
I was just going to say that Sentinels were scary as hell in X-Men 92. Like, they definitely tapped into Chris Claremont's scary-ass Sentinels.
I'll tell you why I was scared of them. I'll tell you why.
Well, I mean, I'll say, well, just on a side note, not just Claremont's run, but also the original run by Lee and Kirby, especially with Master Mold.
Yeah.
Oh, I can go off. I can go about how Master Mold actually gave me nightmares as a 12-year-old.
Can I tell you guys now?
Yes, please.
Go right ahead.
It's because the heroes couldn't beat them the first time.
No, they actually took a page out of anime and killed off a main character in the first episode.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
killed more.
However,
yeah.
originally it was actually going to be John Proudstar, the first Thunderbird, just like what happened to him like after Giant Size X-Men with Len Wein and Dave Cockrum.
But What was funny was when
Oh,
I
that,
saw the primetime episode, I
Janelle,
did
now
not
that,
believe.
sorry,
Go on. You want to talk to Janelle? Go ahead.
now that you mentioned anime, Janelle, because I actually did do some research on this thanks to the It's a Gundam's video when X-Men 97 was announced, which we're not talking about that. But Toei is actually involved in the show for the animations, because Dragon Ball Z was high off of this off the 90s craze for at that time, and this is why the animation looks the way it does. In fact, there's even 2 other openings for this exact show in Japan, which which we have been seeing those since some Ishii had presented this in Generation X, which you are a part of, Janelle.
Yeah. No, I actually like that. I remember when that anime opening, the shock. That was so good.
Well,
But we
since
need
we're
okay.
talking about
Wolf needs to
opening-
finish.
Well, yeah. Let me go ahead and finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I said 2 things. I meant 3 things. It made me scared of 3 things. 1, the Sentinels, because the heroes didn't defeat them the first time. Even though now they can whoop their asses later on the series, they're still scary because Master Mold showed up, and I was even scared of that motherfucker at that time too. I said the phalanx, and that's only because I was scared of zombies at that time. The phalanx remind me too much of zombies. Too much.
Well, let's not forget the Borg from Star Trek.
That too, but I wasn't really that scared of the Borg. Not that much. And last but not least, Apocalypse. And same reason why with the Sentinels, the heroes could not beat them. And I had this I said this a few times in a lot of streams. I had this unusual as a kid. I had this unusual fear of if the heroes could not beat it, I'm scared of it. I don't know why that fear came up. And zombies was high on the list because even if they're not heroes or protagonists, if the zombie is getting back up, I'm scared of that thing. If the hero can't kill it, I'm scared of it. Because the hero, just based on the reason why the hero couldn't beat it. I don't know why. I don't know why I had that fear. I don't know why.
I was like most of you, I was an adult when the cartoon aired, but I could see that the Sentinels would strike fear because my imagination would go to what if I'm being chased by a robot that large that can hunt me down, and it's very, very tall and very, very big. So they were scary. Master Mold is very scary, especially when he became is sentient. And yeah, I'm like you, Wolf. The fear to me, the biggest one was Apocalypse. Because how do you fight a villain that cannot be defeated? How do you fight that? And that was always Apocalypse was always good, as well as Nimrod.
Well, good.
Oh, yeah.
I
Muir Island Saga Part 1 and Part 2 were pretty disturbing.
Yeah,
I was
seeing
more
him
afraid
and-
of a.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I
No,
was
go
more
ahead.
afraid of Phoenix because she was like, I can take stuff and I can take away. Yeah, sure. You decimated a universe just because you could. Thanks.
Hear me, X-Men. Furthermore, I am no longer the woman you remember as Jean Grey. From now on, I am the Phoenix. I'm paraphrasing. God, that's an iconic line.
Yes, it is.
That's an iconic page where she's
Mhm.
coming out of the water like a rocket.
And she's just screaming like a diva. And
Yeah.
she's owning it. She is straight owning it. Just beautiful. Just mwah.
No, that
Just-
remains one of Carol Disher's best performance as Jean.
You
Oh,
could
yeah,
see
I-
the range
yeah,
in her voice as Jean and Phoenix. I thought when I was a kid, I thought it was a totally different voice actress doing the Dark Phoenix.
Shit. I'm pretty sure you could use Nightmare Moon's voice from Friendship is Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was great voice acting from the actress. Yeah, for her to play Jean, the Dark Phoenix, and all the emotional turmoil she was going through.
And all the
battling.
old voices too.
Yeah.
God.
That as well.
Oh. So speaking of the first
Oh,
Speaking of the first two episodes of the first season of X-Men, it definitely didn't come off as your typical superhero show. I mean, it was dark and foreboding. I mean, you had mutants being hunted down by the Mutant Registration Act. You had sentient robots hunting down mutants. Not only that, I mean, you had everything's from the point of view of Jubilee. So, she's in this crazy ass alien environment with like technology that you don't see anywhere else. She doesn't know what the hell is going on. They decide to make their attack on the mutant registration headquarters. Not only do they get jumped by a sentinel, but not so Morph dies, and then Beast gets taken prisoner, and you don't see him for the majority of the rest of the season. They actually stuck with that. They didn't do a jailbreak right away. He stayed in prison for the entire season, which I was like, oh my God. Especially because I read the comics. I was like, no, I don't want Hank in prison. Oh, get him out, man. But yeah, I mean, that was brilliant. I really thought that was I like that they would do episodes that were just a standalone episode, but there was always the overarching plots of getting Beast out of prison, having his day in court, and also they got to figure out how to take out the Sentinels.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and they were a
Also-
relatively new team.
Well, wait, the X-Men?
Mm-hmm. That was the
Really?
whole arc of them too, being a relatively new team, or at least a fresh team with new additions to their team, because they do show the original team pick. Well, I'm thinking of something else.
I think you have to give something else because
Yeah, you should think of something else because you're
Warren
talking about
wasn't there.
X-Men. Yeah, because he has since left the Xavier Institute. You're thinking about X-Men.
You guys, I figured out what I was thinking. I'll tell you guys in the green room afterwards.
No, with the X-Men, like in the Marvel Anime Universe, they've been around the block for a good long while.
What I'm saying is they had new additions to their team like Gambit and Wolverine, and they were still trying to work with them once they were out.
No, Wolverine wasn't as new. But you could tell Gambit and Jubilee were the new additions because they knew the least about Gambit, and Jubilee was easy to figure out. But I mean, that goes into Days of Future Past, which is the penultimate season. The last or the
event.
The last event before you had the final battle against Master Mold. Which, by the way, that episode, the finale, really did scare the crap out of me with Master Mold, because that's when he lets Trask know, oh no, I've been sentient this whole time. I control everything, and I'm putting robot brains in the world's leaders, and I'm going to take over. And I'm just like, not only does this thing look Uncanny Valley, I mean, I'm sorry, that is some Uncanny Valley shit. It was terrifying. You had a walking, talking, sentient Sentinel factory. No.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was
It looked
scary.
like a giant toy.
Oh, a toy you obviously don't want to play with.
Of course, this
even
was
scared
when you
Chucky.
grew up on too many messed up TV commercials.
A toy that could build other toys as well. He's like a conveyor belt of Sentinels.
Yeah, that's a toy I wouldn't want to meet. Humble, this gigantic robot, this gigantic thing they take on, and like Janelle said, that well, first of all, Days of Future Past is one of the highlights of the first season. That adaptation of that storyline, it's one of the highlights of the first season. But also, I like how then it rolled into the ultimate battle with those Sentinels. But yeah, it was scary hearing Master Bolt tell him, this gigantic robot, saying, "Oh, I've been sent, like you just said, I've been Sentinel. I've been one step ahead of you the whole time, and I have plans of my own. And you could guarantee I'm going to I'm going to execute those plans all along. So what could that guy do? You know, those X-Men really had a battle on them. You know, if you
They
really
had-
think about it.
Well, to really
They had
summarize,
I was just going to say real quick, they had some really good two-parters. They had the Night of the Sentinels at the beginning, the mid-season two-parter Genosha arc, and then Days of Future Past is the ending two-parter.
Yeah, that's a good one. You were saying, Dom?
to summarize season 1 of X-Men 92, it was and still is a rather great fusion between the original run with Lee and Kirby and Claremont and Byrne.
You can't make me do this. You were designed to protect humans from mutants. That is not logical. Mutants are humans. Therefore,
Yeah, I love when Trask is like,
Yeah.
he has the Luke moment. No!
you misunderstood.
I mean, again, like this is actually an adaptation from the original Lee and Kirby run when the team was facing off like Master Mold and the rest of the Sentinels, and I would say like one of the differences between that and the source material is Trask, he actually used a device like onto Beast to like read his mind, and he actually looks into it, and he realizes that the X-Men are not a threat, but like as he had feared, but they have actually done a lot of good for people, which prompted him to pull a heel face turn. Now in the source, he actually sacrificed himself in destroying Master Mold, whereas in the animated universe, he was kept alive.
That's right about that.
Indeed.
What was I going to say about? I just forgot the thought I said. I was going back what Janelle said. It's interesting. It took this machine to let Trask to know what we've all known and what the X-Men is fighting for. That no, they are humans, and the humans were treating them, you know, as if they were not normal. So I know Trask, like you said, that's a great moment for him to realize, okay, this artificial intelligence realizes who humans are more than I have. A little bit moment, but it's kind of a great moment. And then for him to turn around, yeah, because that's what we all know what the Sentinels were created for. It was because, like you said, we see that they're in a tense time where mutants are discriminated against. But this machine says, no, they are human. And he's like, I made a mistake.
That was a follow-up. Much like their comic book counterpart, like both Trask and Robert, were like they were hateful towards mutants. Like they had some, they were antagonistic, sure, but they weren't malicious. They had concerns in regards like to mutants, which on one hand you can understand where they're coming from. However, how they went about it, it caused them to change their viewpoints about mutants.
I don't know. Gyrick wanted mutants eradicated.
No. I'm talking about only Trask and Kelly. Gyrick on the other hand, and like the Marvel Anime Universe captured him really well because he started out as a thorn on the Avengers side. Like after he made his appearance in Avengers number 165, however, he eventually moved on to other superhumans of the Marvel Universe, and he essentially predated Amanda Waller of DC.
That's a good point, Dom. Yeah. That's a very interesting. That was a good point. Neil Starr had a very interesting question. I don't know. I can't quite. Yeah, he says just like has Ultron ever. I don't remember. Dom, does anyone remember Ultron encountering Master Mold or Sentinels? I don't think so.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, yeah, I don't remember. I would remember if they did.
Why has that never happened?
Yeah, that's
printing money.
Yeah.
That never happened in either the comics or in animated features.
Would that actually work though?
Yeah, that'd be a great story, don't you think? Don't you think, Humble? Ultron, do you think Ultron would either like Master Mold or how he was thinking, or maybe using them for some other purpose?
I think Ultron and Master Mold would probably use each other because they're going towards the same goal, and you'd end up having them switch opponents for a while. Then they'd have to team up, and then we'd have the flak hit the fan, and a whole bunch of characters get killed off.
That also as well as enslaving
If
humanity.
They were
Because
trying
again,
to treat everyone equally, but X-Men 97 likes to play favorites and gets into the shipping a little bit, so that might end up going like Age of Ultron, the new Ultron cartoon that ended up being held captive by some kid that found out a bunch of stuff and said, "Make my ship real or else."
Dear God.
Isn't it frightening that she could be right?
Well, what could have been frightening for her is she ends up getting doxxed to the police, and then her entire career goes down the drain because she was lucky the company was being kind to her. If she did that with Disney, I think Disney would have put her head on a pike, metaphorically speaking, since they're supposed to be family friendly, but are kind of not.
This is the most 97 is one of the most unfamily friendly shows I've seen. At least X-Men, for all its serious tone in 92, was still family friendly. Even with caked up Rogue's butt, okay? That meme and everything.
I can't believe Claire Redfield voiced Jubilee.
Are you
Allison
serious?
Court.
Mm-hmm. Who was
Allison
also
Court
that
and
big comfy couch.
well, she was also. Well, she's also the voice of Lydia for the animated Beetlejuice series.
That's right, Lydia Dietz.
Mm-hmm. If you ask me, I mean, like she should have reprised her role as Jubilee instead of saying she can't because she's not of the right ethnicity as Jubilee from the source material. Like my reaction is, who cares? You're a voice actor.
Bitch, you Canadian. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, she was white guilt out, which is a shame. I'm with
Apparently.
you, Dom. They white guilt her out of the role, and she could have kept it because I liked her voice as Jubilee. I like her voice fit perfectly.
She still sounds like Jubilee.
Because apparently nobody has a concept of acting.
Be
It's
alive
called
or voice.
acting for a reason.
Yeah, give it time. It goes through cycles.
Yes, it does.
I
Go ahead, Janelle.
was just going to say, I hope that 97 doesn't get renewed. I hope it bombs.
I don't think
Well,
No, I know it's not going to. It's super popular.
well,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
said
it's already been renewed for season 2.
Yay, we get to see Rogue and old Dusty Balls Magneto have their relationship. Woohoo!
Well,
Yeah, let's talk about.
Let's just get back to
92.
92.
let's get back. Well, I was gonna say get back to 92. No, one of my favorite moments from the two-part Night of the Sentinels has to be Jubilee's boss appearance. Her dad and her mom. Like you can tell they really love Jubilee and saw her as their own daughter.
Yes, you could see that even at the beginning of the episode when she runs away and she's at this arcade and she thinks her parents are turning her over, and she even said it herself, that I thought they loved me. We know they loved her, but she's still confused over the whole situation. But I agree with you that you could tell they really cared for her despite her being a mutant and her being a foster child. They did love her. I do agree with you on that.
Speaking of Jubilee, I love that the running gag through the X-Men 92 was that Jubilee always destroyed a VCR once a year.
Well, I mean, her powers may not be phasing like Kitty. However, when it comes to like actually launching like plasmoids in the shape of fireworks, yeah, you want to make sure you want to keep your tech away from her.
Yeah.
Just thinking of that Mojo Vision episode where they bring in what happened to your VCR? Cyclops is like, don't ask.
I think think he says again. I'm like, you're back again? Because I think the guy in the face said every time these people come in with broken VCR. But I do like, as the series progressed, she bonds with Wolverine. I actually do like that. Because Wolverine, as we all see, is kind of, gets under the hairs of everybody. But she seems to bond with him pretty good. And I kind of like that. I like the relationship.
I mean, she's always meant to be like more of a prominent character for the X-Men, because this is when I then started to notice this after realizing prior to the X-Men, this show, and X-Men Legends, there are usually these 3 types of characters, which all 3 are young girls that are always very prominent characters for the X-Men, which is always more of a coming-of-age type of story for the X-Men. It's Kitty Pryde, then here it's Jubilee, and then in X-Men Legends, it's Magma.
I do like when they get ready to go this showdown with the Sentinels, and I hope my memory is correct me if I've got the wrong episode. But doesn't Jubilee make a speech about wanting to fight along with them, even though she's only been with them for a short period of time? She says she's an X-Men like the rest of them, and I'm in this battle with you all before they go out for this. They go down to the final showdown with the Sentinels.
Hey,
And
Tim Woodman, I'm sending you back to Oz in pieces.
I like the line where they're fighting and they're all the smashing and grunting, and it's Wolverine and Gambit. I think Abbott says Wolverine, says a line to him that says, I'm quoting, I may have it wrong, but like, next time I come and rescue, next time let me do it, or something. Next time there's a rescue, let me do it, or something. He says to Gambit.
This one's for you, Morph.
I goofed up the line, but it's one of my favorite lines. That's a good one. But I really liked it where he says, next time I come to rescue, remember to let me do it, or something like that, where fighting in the tunnel. I thought that was funny.
Granted, like with Morph, he in the comics he's actually Changeling. However, they had to change his code name due to Beast Boy of the Teen Titans changing his name from his original code name to Changeling. Yeah, because also he actually became very popular, really, in spite of his like brief appearance and his subsequent return in season 2. Like Marvel Comics actually started to use Changeling more like with his new codename of Morph. First with Age of Apocalypse, and then later on with the Exiles comic series by Judd Winnick.
I never read Exiles. I only read Age of Apocalypse, but I loved him in Age of Apocalypse. So when I got excited when X-Men 97 was coming out, originally I had some hope, and I saw that they had Morph in his Age of Apocalypse look. I was like, okay, that's dope. But that it was all a lie.
I just want to address Bubba Smith. I agree. I wish that some of what they did in the animated series rolled into the movies. But you know how Hollywood is. This is
also
that would have been
again,
nice.
Yeah, like Kelly's viewpoints about mutants changed. That's actually
I honestly don't blame you, Neostar. Sorry, Dom. I honestly don't blame you, Neostar, because X-Men Legends kicks your ass.
Man, y'all just not trying hard enough. I beat that game twice.
Yeah, I played like 3 run-throughs in that game and had a blast.
It's a purpose you gotta worry about.
If only we have the third entry, which teased us Mr. Sinister.
That would have been.
But we did get Ultimate Alliance though. That was a really good game though. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, but I digress.
But anyway, Kelly was handled really well in the X-Men animated series in general, because it was him becoming a major ally to the X-Men is accurate to what was happening to him in the books.
One particular, if I may point to, how do you guys feel about, and I thought this was very interesting and very dramatic, is the episode where Sabretooth comes into the picture. and it was at the courthouse at Beast's trial where they would not deny him bail, which was ridiculous. You can very much see it was one-sided, totally against Beast. He didn't really didn't have a chance in that courtroom. There was, and I can understand why Beast wanted to stay in jail, because he wanted to have his day in court to defend himself against a lot of the lies that were being spread about mutants. But that first day he didn't have a chance. You can see that it was totally one-sided, and no one was there really to give him the defense he deserved. But Sabretooth comes in and sabotages anything just to invoke more fear into humans, into the public, and hysteria.
Oh, right. My fourth fear, Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And that happened in Enter Magneto, which remains one of my favorite episodes from season 1.
Are these the people whose laws you trust? They don't seem to share your sense of brotherhood. They only fight because they fear us, because they don't yet understand, but they do understand. Our mutant powers make us superior to them, and that is why they fear us. That's why I must stand trial. They must see we are not a threat to mankind, but part of it. The humans must be crushed, and I have the power to do it.
Yeah, I liked very good, Wolf. I was about to say I do like that exchange between Beast and Eric. Well, we call him Eric, but Magneto. Yeah, that exchange where
Magnus in the TV series.
Oh,
apparently his name's now Max Eisenhart.
What?
Well,
can you just pull a name out and stick to it?
Look, his real name is Max Eisenhart. Eric Lencher is the new name that he adopted after he escaped from from the Nazis during World War II.
They made his real name in the movies.
Yeah, but he was actually him and others that were like in the concentration camps. They were rescued by Wolverine, Captain America, and the rest of the Howling Commandos.
Mm-hmm. Real shame we never got to see a scene like that played out in films. But I move on. But I was going to go back to, well, first of all, Enter Magneto, Dom, is one of my favorite episodes. It's one of my favorite introductions into Magneto and his relationship to Professor X. One episode particularly that stands out to me, though, during that old melee, Sabretooth gets injured, and they bring Sabretooth back to the mansion. And Wolverine,
faked that shit.
Of course, yes, and Wolverine knew it. That's why I said they must feel like fools, because Wolverine knew, hey, you can't keep this guy here. He's not what you think he is. He can't stay here at all. He's not the real deal. And they all tell him that they all have this philosophy, I guess, the foolishness they guess that they could cure him the way they cured.
Well, not cure, rehabilitate him, and that's actually a reference in Uncanny X-Men after Claremont's departed, right? And this was during Scott Lobdell's run.
But I do you're right, Dom, but I do like the line that Wolverine tells Professor X, and it is the truth. And he says, after I guess Professor X tells him that if he touches, Sabretooth, that don't even bother coming back here. Wolverine leaves him, but his last words to him, I don't understand how we got to go easy on your enemies, but we got to go easy on my enemies, but we got to go hard on yours. Something on that line. In other words, we've got to go stop Eric, but here you want to keep this guy here who's an enemy of mine. And I thought that's really some balls there on Wolverine to look Charles in the eye and say that. Because most of the other X-Men would have just blindly went by what he says, but Wolverine really gives him a challenge there. And
how come we're supposed to touch your own, but we gotta go easy on mine?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was right.
In the episode, but in the episode after Enter Magneto, Charles did receive a harsh lesson that some people, be it human or mutant, they don't want to rehabilitate. So they're happy with the person that they have become.
Right, as we see, as he says, he was faking everything the whole time. Good thing Wolverine didn't go too far, and he came back there. he wasn't too far when Sabretooth tries to take Jubilee. But I just like the exchange those two have. That tells me a lot about Wolverine. That even though I know he respects Charles Xavier and he respects him, but if he's not afraid to speak out against him, if he challenge him, if he has to, he may
What's
not win.
wrong with me?
Yeah.
No kiss and makeup. Kiss this.
It's a good thing he didn't go too. Yeah. I'm glad he didn't go too far, and he knew. Well, Wolverine knew that. Sabretooth was evil, so it's a good thing he didn't go. He was right on that line, and like you said, Charles had to learn the hard way. And I also like, it's a small little thing, but I think it's cute when they do confront Magneto the first time. I think they're at some sort of facility, and I think Cyclops gets knocked out by some gas, and Rogue is trying to save him. So in order to save him, she had to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation or something. And as that happened, she absorbed his powers, the energy from his eyes. She absorbs them. And then when they go back...
that was the military base.
Yeah, the military base. Thanks, Don.
Come on, Snipe. Make a girl feel welcome.
But when they go back to the mansion and they sit back down, and I love the sassiness and flirtation of Rogue. And she sits next to Cyclops, and Cyclops is he was brought back, and she tells Cyclops, well, first of all, she says, I'm sorry I got to do this, but don't tell Jean when she has to do that. And then she tells him, maybe we can do it again sometime. And Cyclops is like, oh, yeah, right, yeah. And I thought, oh, well, Cyclops, I think you liked that.
Now, Cyclops, hear me out.
Yeah.
She's also a redhead.
Yeah, yeah. But the flirtiness of Rogue, I didn't mind it. Rogue was one of my favorites. Why Rogue is so popular, but also she had to deal with the flirtiness of Gambit. I like their flirting as well.
I was so stoked when they got together in the show, but then they did the whole weren't official shit.
Yeah.
But I remember in the Phoenix Saga when they thought they were going to die, they were about to make out at the end of the world before the ship got hit and they got knocked over.
Well, they also did that during Legion Quest before Age of Apocalypse.
Yes.
Well, he confessed his love to her. We're jumping ahead here, but he confessed her love to her when they were on Muir Island, and they were about to get zapped by Mr. Sinister, and she tells Gambit that I'm scared. I don't know how to fight it without my powers. And then Gambit tells her that no matter what, Rogue, just remember that Gambit loves you. So their confession came right then and there.
Well, she never ever told him she loved him. It was always him telling her he loved her, which was something that happened in the comics too. But yeah, he'd always been upfront about it. So I mean, I did like I know this is season 2, but I think it's when Morph is messing with the X-Men to get revenge.
Yeah.
And he tricks Gambit into thinking Rogue's been hiding her powers, and he kisses her, gets knocked out, and then Rogue can't control her powers. She's like, she can't even hold a freaking coffee cup.
I remember.
But then she learns how to use his powers, and she's like, this is the greatest shit ever. I can make bombs.
Now
and just runs with it.
But don't forget the episode where they go back to Gambit's backstory and they take him back to his old home in New Orleans, and there's this other woman that wants to marry her.
Oh, Belladonna Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Rogue,
now we gotta look. Save it for season 2. All right.
Okay. All right.
Where's season 1?
Mm-hmm.
I got duct tape stored in my storage. You know that, right?
Look.
Oh my goodness.
Look, besides the 2-part Night Essential, Enter Magneto, and actually, speaking of Deadly Reunion, what were your first impressions when all of you first saw it, and how did you feel about it now after rewatching it? Well, no matter an X amount of times. Does it still
Deadly
hold up?
Reunion is the Sabretooth one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Leia hit the nail on the head. Wolverine had every right to be pissed and bail because Xavier was being an absolute hypocrite. It was like, oh no, my enemy, my arch enemy is the most dangerous guy. Oh, we can help Sabretooth. And Logan's like, I have seen this guy eviscerate people.
We can fix him.
Yeah.
Which is what Xavier was trying to do.
No, I mean, it was bullshit, especially if you had read the comics. That there's no fixing Sabretooth. I know we've talked about him on Generation X-Men. He is truly one of the most evil characters out there.
And again, like he embraces his savagery, and he doesn't want to change.
Right, exactly.
He's like the kind of alcoholic that shows up to AA drunk every time.
Yes.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. That moment, that actually, Red Reunion is one of my favorite episodes because I do like how Wolverine calls out Charles. Not to be mean spirit, but like I said, Wolverine was dead on right. Now maybe Charles didn't want to listen to him because, well, this is Wolverine and you're beneath me.
You guys are missing some few things. They do call out Professor a few times here and there.
Yeah.
It's not as aggressively savage as Wolverine, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely there.
In the
like
first,
even in the first episode with Cyclops, Cyclops even questions he outright questions Xavier's authority.
It's true.
Rewatching that rewatching that episode, it just reminded me Wolverine's old as heck. He's probably he's like the old man telling the underage commanding officer, that dude's nuts. Why are you taking him in there?
Well, considering you have a powerful healing factor, which makes you effectively an Angel's immortal, that does that to you, but with good reason.
True.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
I do like how he goes and made up with a few Inuits during the episode Code Vengeance, where he has to search his soul on whether where he belongs with the X-Men or on his own, because he's been a lone wolf for so long, especially with his famous quote, "I go where I wanna go."
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And what's so cool was, like, a lot of people don't really know his mutation or who or what he's all about. They just rarely accept him, even though he's an outsider to their tribe. Of course, you got that one. Every group has that one asshole that just tries to ruin the party for everybody.
Oh, the punk bitch that had to one up him every time.
Yeah, he always felt like he always felt like he was the most important thing in that sliced bread.
I found that lady hilarious. It was like putting a chihuahua up against a oversized cat.
Who almost got killed by Sabretooth. Mm-hmm. A friend of Wolverine is my enemy. It doesn't even kill the dude.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't lose his soul to him.
Sabretooth, you're starting to lose your intimidation factor.
They did have that confrontation in Code Vengeance.
That's what I'm bringing up.
Yeah, but however, before we go in depth on that, let's talk about Captive Hearts and the first appearance of the Marvel Anime Universe incarnation of the Morlocks.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Janelle and a few people in the Discord about this episode. Jesus Christ, how the hell did my child self miss the innuendos? Because the majority of Callisto's appearance and character throughout this whole episode is me see Cyclops, me think Cyclops is hot, me want babies from Cyclops. I will claim him. Hey, fuck that
She
white
even
lady
says that
over
she's
there.
going to breed with him to make more Morlocks.
And have
Yeah.
an heir to see her throne as the leader. Have me rolling.
I also mentioned in the Discord. Also mentioned in the Discord that Captain Parts is an adaptation from Uncanny X-Men, where worth the Morlocks' first appearance, but instead of Cyclops, she was actually chasing after Warren.
Yeah, she actually kidnapped Angel instead because
Yep.
he's even more hot in the comics.
Yeah, now granted, now
Mm.
granted, since this isn't like the comics, and Warren has been away from the X-Men for a good long while. Well, I gotta give the writers props for working with what they had for X-Men '92. Yeah, but still, they still kept the essence of the original story.
Real quick to Draco Nightmare. Sabretooth is, put it like this. He has Clarence Bonaker's rap sheet.
Yes.
So how evil this guy is. Like if you ever saw Clarence Bonaker's rap sheet in RoboCop, that is Sabretooth's rap sheet. And he's
Yeah,
an immortal.
Yeah, even Clarence will be terrified of Victor.
He was asking Neil about Sabretooth, like, dude, Neil always putting things mildly. Nah. You need to go hardcore when it comes to Sabretooth. He has Clarence Bonaker's rap sheet and more. This man committed war crimes, sex crimes, child crimes, cannibal crimes.
We could go on.
The list will forever go on. This man tried to have his way with Psylocke. Past what Janelle was discussing in the last stream.
Wow.
Yeah, no. What was weird though is Psylocke was kind of getting off on it too, but it was Psylocke. So, but yeah, he was going after Psylocke as well.
Granted, he
And
started
then
off.
Jean handed his ass to him, and that was it.
Yeah, and she has since joined amongst well, he not only became her arch enemy, but also to Danny, also, and Wolverine, among other characters of the Marvel Universe. This just shows you how terrifying Victor is.
Oh yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I was going to go back to Janelle's comment talking about Callisto and Cyclops, and I was just going to say that yes, Callisto wanted to make Cyclops her own, but Jean was not having that. I'm surprised. Yeah, I was going to say yeah, she did, but Jean Grey wasn't going to allow having that. When she started using her powers and told her, "Sorry, lady."
Storm stepped up.
Well, because they had to do Storm stepping up because that's how it was in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Despite her, it was an interesting episode because she has claustrophobia, so she had to go deep down, into these closed spaces. But she still held her own.
Damn near exploited that. It was becoming a meme at this point.
What, her Storm's claustrophobia?
Yeah, during this first season, it was almost like it was almost like a running gag.
Yep.
Like, okay, how many times y'all gonna try to make this girl be afraid of enclosed spaces? Jesus Christ, y'all need to stop bullying Storm.
As a writer, I
This broad
appreciate
had
the use of weaknesses.
this broad had a wall fall on her. She panicking. She was put in a box like a slave.
Oh, that shit was brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
That two-parter on Genosha. Oh man.
Oh yeah, Slave
I did
Island.
like the fact that Gambit got to shine in that episode, but you also it was a good lead up for you to question his loyalty for Days of Future Past.
Mhm.
But if you already read the comics, they were talking about that he was the traitor already.
Well, yeah.
But I really liked how Storm became so delusional in the box. She thought she still had her powers, and Jubilee was like, Storm, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm agreeing with Genosha. no, sure, like that was another overarching storyline within the Marvel universe. However, with X-Men '92, they couldn't really do like pull that off in animation for that, so they had to condense it.
Yes. And down into just 2 episodes, which was kind of a shame. It would have been nice to see one whole season focusing on the background of Genosha, kind of like they did in season 2, where they would have the standalone episodes, but the last 2 to 5 minutes of the episode was Magneto and Xavier going through the Savage Land.
Oh
Mhm.
I would have
God, the
liked
many
to have
times
seen
they
something like that.
oh
But
God,
can we
many
also
times they kept
can
showing
we
them
also
running through
mention
the fence,
in
I got bored. I was always so freaking just annoyed by that. How every time when an episode would end, they go right back to them running around in the Savage Land. I'm like, okay, can we get an episode dedicated to this so we can move on from this? That's how Kidney was thinking every
But
single time. I was like, okay,
but
why
can we
is
mention?
you got me ranting right now? I'm
All
like,
right,
why
well,
is
let you
Xavier
rest.
walking? And why can't Magneto use his powers? Why is they so helpless? Why is they run from this dinosaur? Why is they run from these crazy cave people? That was kidding me. That was kidding me throughout every time they show those sequences until we finally got the answer. I was like, okay, thank goodness we finally can put a cork in on this. Oh, hey, look, it's what's his name? Sauron. I like him. I also hate him. We'll get into that pretty soon when we get there.
In season 2, like but can we mention in in the 3-parter Slave Island, there are cameos galore, especially if you've been reading comic books, not just Marvel, for a good long while, and you can just pick them out in Slave Island. But it also serves as the introduction of animated Cable.
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was Aurora, North Star, Domino, Sunfire,
And
Richter. Wasn't Blob in there too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
A less dumb blob than probably the
And-
X-Men.
Also Thunderbird, John
That's-
Proudstar.
Oh yeah, I thought that was Warpath at first.
No. So like in the opening, only that was actually Warpath. That was with members of the Brotherhood.
Okay,
Didn't Deadpool also make a cameo appearance in that episode, or is it a later season?
later season.
Later
Season
season.
two.
Okay.
Then I could, how the hell am I mistaken Domino for Psylocke?
Psylocke didn't make
no.
her cameo till season 2.
Yeah.
Mojo Vision.
Okay,
Charles.
how'd you like the fight between Cable and Warren?
Oh, at the
God.
beginning of that that episode, I forgot the name,
Mhm.
but
I know
No,
what you're
those-
talking about too.
Oh, which one?
those-
Oh, wait.
Are these
Oh,
the
no,
episodes?
not that one.
Warren
Okay.
Worthington.
No, the Cure. You talk about the Cure,
Yeah.
right?
The
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
who was Angel?
Yeah. The 2-parter. It wasn't a 2-parter, but it was the episodes dealing with the Cure and Muir Island. Those are some of my favorite episodes from that season. That season 2. I was just
I
thinking
originally
about that.
thought Cable was a bad guy.
I did too.
I
Yeah.
knew Cable from the comic books already, so I knew he wasn't a bad guy. But
Me too.
he was like 90s Wolverine. Cable was the equivalent, and so was Bishop. So I had a hard eye roll. I was like, oh, great. Cable's here. Woohoo.
Hey, come on.
For me,
In X-Men 92, they utilized him well.
in my defense, it was again the show's episodes being shown out of orders at times. So like when Cable showed up, I thought that was his first appearance, and he attacked Angel. And I knew nothing of Angel, by the way. I had a toy of him, and I just assumed that he was good because he had angel wings, because Christian family, of course. But like seeing Warren lose, I was so heated. It's like, you're supposed to win, dog.
Yeah.
And then it became Archangel. I was like, okay, he's my favorite now. At first it was Cyclops. Bye, Cyclops. Hi, Archangel. Then Gambit starts
Yeah.
being even more badass. It's like, bye, Angel. You're only in one or two episodes. Hi, Gambit. Then Nightcrawler later season shows up. I was like, bye, Gambit. Hi, Nightcrawler.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, with X-Men '92, like they would take cues from not just Claremont, Lobdell, and Lee and Kirby, but they also take some inspiration from their spin-off titles from like the New Mutants, Excalibur, and X Factor. Because with the two-parter involving the Cure, here then come the Apocalypse. On top of Newer, like didn't make his like full appearance until X Factor, and that was done by Louise Simonson before Peter David took over.
But the Muir Island episodes, that whole, I call it Muir Island, but you're right. This was the situation dealing with the so-called cure, and we come to find out who really is behind all of this. And that was my first introduction to Apocalypse. But I liked both those episodes because you can see Rogue had a dilemma about, and I'm going to say this, this animated storyline was handled way better than X-Men The Last Stand, which they completely screwed all of that up. But we do see that Rogue. Well, they could have handled it a little better in the live action.
No. It's not that. To be fair, with X-Men: The Last Stand, it was actually an adaptation of the Cure storyline from Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't executed very well. Maybe having that and trying to do the Dark Phoenix just didn't blend well. Is that why maybe it just didn't turn out as good as everybody thought it could be? Maybe they
too
just
much
should've-
at once. That's pretty much why. Because they always add another story arc along with the Dark Phoenix Saga by trying to make it already bigger than it already is, despite the fact that the Phoenix Saga is one of the biggest story arcs for the X-Men.
Right.
And that's for like potential cures of suppressing the X gene. They haven't mentioned before, but they weren't really. It wasn't treated as a serious storyline until Astonishing X-Men with Joss Whedon.
Okay, but in this season 1, I kind of like the way the story went. That she goes to Muir Island to try to find this. Well, it really starts with Professor X when he's there on Muir Island to see Moira, and he gets this. He senses Apocalypse is there, but he's not sure. And
Quick interruption. Oh, Draco, you don't know the half of it. It goes beyond fan fiction.
Yeah. Well, no, he asked me, why is the Magneto Rogue storyline so popular? And it's just like it's a obsession with pedophilia.
It must be, because I hate that. That's one reason why I didn't want to see Nancy. I said I did not want to see Magneto and Rogue banging. I just don't want to see. That is not my interest whatsoever.
The mere
thought, even just by saying that out loud, even by the thought of it, makes me want to throw up.
I'm sorry.
It's Lolicon. You just missed a couple age brackets.
If there's any consolation, it didn't happen in '97. All right, I was even surprised that they would actually adapt to that aspect of Uncanny X-Men when Rogue was stranded in the Savage Lands.
Well, they actually show a scene in X-Men 97 during a flashback where Magneto and Rogue are sharing a bed, and she gets up out of the bed to look out the window. No, it's laid out there. Like they definitely did not. They did not shy away from showing that Magneto was having sex with an underage Rogue at that time frame, because she was still underage. She was still underage when Magneto was working with Mystique and the Brotherhood.
Also, I know more of this world than you can even dream. That is why I must destroy it.
Also, this is after her encounter with Miss Marvel.
Oh, at least they made the pedo
Yeah.
the bad guy. Usually they don't.
You guys missed my Apocalypse impression.
Apocalypse
No.
suppression is
No,
good.
I would say very good.
We didn't miss it.
Yes, it's very good. You're dead on. You are on with your impressions tonight, Wolf.
I am
You're
as
doing your
far
homework.
beyond mutants as they are beyond you. I am eternal.
What?
That's dead on.
That's what- yeah, and technically, Apocalypse is a member of the Eternals. Well, not Eternals, externals.
The externals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subspecies of mutants who are immortals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since I don't remember that, but now I do. But that episode, back to the Muir Island one, it's one of my. I was just trying to pick out the highlights, and then we discovered that Dr. Adler, the man supposed to have this cure, is really Apocalypse, and then we get a good glimpse at Mystique because she's sort of behind it as well.
Even though she appeared in the Genosha episode.
Yeah, Slave Island.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying her motives are fleshed out more. If I
Yeah.
could put it like that. Yeah. Let me put it like that. That her motives are fleshed out more in this episode because she's working for Apocalypse, and how he takes these mutants who are desperate to be normal, but he's really turning them into his slaves. That's kind of shocking to watch
To be more
too.
specific, his Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
And he
Correct.
makes no apologies whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, that's the frightening thing. He doesn't. He tells them increase the power of the machine. I want to hear them scream out, in pain or something as they get as they get changed. And just to show his evil. And of course, the famous scene where they go to Stonehenge and Rogue confronts him, and we get that very famous. How should I say this?
Caked up
silhouette.
ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it, caked up ass.
Yes. That
But,
became-
get-
however, keep in mind, well, even though X-Men 92 has aged well, one of its few flaws is its inconsistent art.
There's
Yeah.
a moment where
because-
Wolverine has sleeves in one scene. Hairy
Uh-huh,
sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, they had been changing different art styles, at least with their animations as the series went onwards, because they went with different styles that they've been experimenting with since 1994 when they were doing more shows of more Marvel characters after this one.
Mm-hmm. Also, when we do get into the two-parter Days of Future Past, it not only adapted that iconic storyline, but also the overarching one during John Burns and Will Spatacio's run of Uncanny X-Men.
I
More
agree.
specifically, Bishop leaving Gambit to be the traitor.
Yeah, I got that. I was
Yeah.
about to say, so you're mixing the two together because I'm glad they stuck with that because we didn't know for sure because when it was announced that he was the traitor, even myself, I was wondering, could he really be that one? Because the guy, I can't think tonight of his name, not Cable, the other time traveler,
Bishop.
Bishop.
Lucas Bishop.
kept saying.
Yeah, Lucas
Thank
Bishop.
you. Bishop kept seeing him as the assassin and the one that's supposed to assassinate Assassin Ken. I'm wondering myself, even I was watching that, I said, well, I wonder if it really is Gambit because like everybody said, there's so much about him we don't really know. Can we really trust him? So even I was wondering themselves how they were going to play this out during the during that run of showing that one. And they show, I like how they show what's happening in the future and how awful it is. And then how when Bishop comes to the present, how they have to sort everything out. That's well done. That was in two parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was two-parter.
Yeah. There's a lot. They got a lot out in two parts.
Lots
I
of
think, with the
two-parters in
storyline.
this show. Lots of two-parters.
However,
Mhm.
briefly, when Lucas does travel back into the past, through Forge's time machine, he did briefly get amnesia.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I love the fact because he landed in 1992 New York. New York hadn't been cleaned up yet by Giuliani, so it was still an absolute shithole, and he thought it didn't work. There's a burned out husk of a car on the street.
Hey, it was actually being accurate to that point in history.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was funny. It's like the poor man landed in the Bronx or some shit.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Someone invited Nimrod.
Yeah, did anybody find Nimrod scary? Did you
I
guys
always
find this
did as a
scary?
kid.
Because he was another character that they couldn't defeat. He's down, but then he pulls himself back together again, and you only have seconds before he puts himself back together again. So I thought the Nimrod was a little creepy as well, and he was supposed to be a robot for the future that hunted down mutants as well. So I thought he was a little scary myself.
I thought it was pretty disturbing that that's what Sentinels become in the future. Like, okay,
Yeah.
no wonder everybody lost.
He was a T-1000 of their group.
Yeah,
It was a
you're
T-1000.
right.
This time.
When you have Wolf makes a good point. When you have an enemy that's impossible to kill, I mean, what hope do you have? How do you fight something that can't be killed? And Nimrod was one of them. Oh, I also want to say the last part of no, this was before the battle in Muir Island when Warrington goes to Dr. Adler, who is really Mystique, and says, "Is the machine ready?" Yes, it is. And then he goes through the transformation because he desperately wanted to be human, and he's turned into. Then he becomes he becomes Archangel for until Rogue sort of sets him free when she touches him. She tries to slow him down, but she touches him, and he becomes free. And his last words to her about what exactly did he say? I'm paraphrasing because I haven't watched it in a bit, but I'm how she could be able to control her urge, but he couldn't, and flies away, not accepting what he is. I don't know, just a little touch to end on another great episode. But Days of
that dude.
I did too. Did you? I did too.
Well, it's also different from when Warren when his powers manifested. He was still rather confident, and didn't see his powers as a curse.
You're right.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, as for how he became Archangel in the source material, well, unfortunately they had to get amputated due to him getting gangrene after he got impaled during the Mutant Massacre.
Yeah, that had to hurt.
Oh, you're right.
You don't know the half of it.
I know this. Yeah, there's more than that. But I thought they handled the Days of Future Past. That's another. They had some good. I know you guys feel about two-parters, but they had some good two-parters in the show. And I hate it because you had to wait. You had to wait a whole week before you find out how part 2 is going to end, unless you were familiar with the comic. But if you
Always love this cliffhanger.
yeah, they always had some. It's some good ones though.
Always love this cliffhanger right here.
I have to go soon, but I want to bring up one episode we haven't talked about yet, and that is the Unstoppable Juggernaut, where Colossus shows up for the first time. That was a fun episode.
Yes, I love
I'm
it.
gonna be
Right.
sure
That's
to
a good
soon though, Janelle, so don't worry.
It also remains one of the better faithful adaptations of Kane Marco.
Oh yeah, just the bully douchebag older brother who's having a temper tantrum is what. I like that episode.
That's a good one.
They keep thinking it's Colossus that's trashing everything, and then they're like, "Oh God, it's Professor Xavier's brother." You could just hear the eye roll, like, "Oh no, we got to deal with this guy again."
Well, they also a running guy with Juggernaut, much like in the comics, people confuse him as a mutant, but he's not. He's enhanced by magic and an avatar for Sidorak.
Because there's actually a stone that's hidden in his helmet.
Well, I know
Right.
that it's a couple of seasons later, but when the one nerdy guy gets the gem of Sidorak and Juggernaut loses his powers,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
remember
that was a
that. That was
great
actually
episode.
that was season 4.
Yeah, like I said, there's a few gems in season 4, and that was one of them.
And again, the X-Men are not too too keen on the order of going to try to get it back and help him. They're not too keen. They're very reluctant to do that. But Professor Xavier orders them to do it, but they aren't too happy about. Rogue even say, "What for? Leave him like he is. Look what he's done to us."
Wait, she's not wrong.
No, she isn't wrong, because even when he gets those powers back, he still goes off and becomes the same jerk he was before he even lost them. So he didn't learn much from that. So the X-Men was right about that one.
Well, that was, but he said that he was he couldn't say thank you because he hates his brother. But I'm too tired to fight you, so I'm gonna leave. And then literally just walks through the wall and out of the house, leaving the Juggernaut cartoon outline.
which is his own way of saying thank you to Charles.
Yeah,
That
that yeah. I enjoyed that episode. Hold on, sorry, I gotta go to bed soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did enjoy the Unstoppable Juggernaut episode. That was very lighthearted because it was sandwiched in between the Slave Island arc and then the Cure on Muir Island arc, which were very deep, not necessarily just deep, but heavy episodes.
Yes, I like that
So,
episode too.
Having Petey Pureheart show up for levity was a smart move.
Yep. Yeah. Well, last thing I will say for the season finale of season 1 of X-Men, they really let things out with a bang, as well as a cliffhanger that leads into season 2.
Yes,
Yeah, it's the first time you hear Sinister.
Yeah.
He's scary.
No, his voice actor killed it as Nathaniel XX.
Oh God, he was good. Yeah, I have to totally agree.
Which will begin to come next week. So I hope you guys have your stuff ready by next week. We're fast paced right now. Set pages to destroy. Anyways, I thank everybody for being here. Those growing number, but so far 9 of you, and these non-existent motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending tonight's festivities. For our finally getting to talk about this. Pretty soon we'll be going down to the anime X-Men series. Which, Janelle, have you seen that?
No, I have not.
You should check it out.
Does it have Gambit in it?
Come on, really?
It has
really.
No,
I'll watch it.
Unfortunately, no.
It is the.
Unfortunately, it also has Cat Beast.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Cat
Oh, Joss Whedon Cat Beast? Or no, it wasn't Joss Whedon.
No, it's Morrison.
Yeah,
it's
thank
based
you.
on the Grant Morrison X-Men formation.
Run. Yeah.
I hated when they turned him into the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. Really?
Well, look.
Though Storm looks hot in that.
is-
Storm looks hot in that anime though.
He doesn't
she
have
does.
the personality
Yeah.
from Ultimate X-Men. He's got more of the original 92 personality, and
You're right. Yeah, that's maybe turn
in
the
that
dragon
one, Wolverine gets punked a lot.
Oh, damn.
They keep the human. They decided to use the human because they weren't utilized a lot.
Yeah, I mean they are rather obscure and underrated supervillain team of the Marvel universe.
Wasn't it Unison the U-Men?
No. So the U-Men is an organization formed by John Sublime.
Oh, okay.
Was
Because weren't the U-Men and John Sublime, wasn't Sublime actually a sentient virus?
Sentient bacteria. Yeah.
Save the talk for later.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes, it does have armor in it, Neostar. We'll get into that. And we also can cover the Wolverine anime as well, which the best out of all the Marvel anime back when the MCU was in its infancy. That's something we'll cross that bridge. Probably not going to do it this year. We'll do it some other years.
Next year.
Yeah, we'll make it a time-honored tradition here and there.
Well,
We'll probably even
well,
tackle X-Men, which I have reservations.
well, we should also like talk about about Marvel Anime Blade because it was actually it's not bad, but it's also like actually faithful to Blade's
Okay,
comic
look,
book
stop
origins.
announcing things. Let's get to the goodbyes.
Okay,
Thank you, the Me Goddess, and our X-Men experts. I guess above Crunk.
Thank you for having me on tonight. It was
Yeah,
fun
okay.
discussing the first season of X-Men 92.
We have our second X-Men fan, mostly due to a certain mutant. The lovely Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, and thank you for joining us in this very colorful discussion of X-Men 92, and also the show that introduced us to one of the best theme songs to probably a TV show I will ever hear in my lifetime. I meant to say that at the beginning because you can't start a conversation about the X-Men without that theme song, but I'm glad that you all joined us for this, and I hope you come back when we talk about season 2. So it's going to be exciting, so we hope to see you all back soon.
We have the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in our part 1 discussion of X-Men 92, and make sure you stick around for not just our part 2 discussion of the series, but also make sure you say the bell notifications for our Mother's Day special of the Real Millennials this Thursday, where essentially we talk about mothers and mother figures in fiction. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell, signing off.
We have the Warrior of Light and our resident Jubilee of this stream series, the Warrior of Light Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, because we've only just begun. But that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure to ring that notification bell, that way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to 1210 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And be sure you also stay tuned for this month on my channel for our comic studies are coming back. We're finally covering Marvel on that show. This time covering The Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. So be sure you stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off. And remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
Ladies, did y'all just see that milk white pink elf that just popped up on the screen just now? He's single and available and looking.
Oh my God, Wolf! Why did you do that to
Did I also
Final?
mention he can sing?
Oh
You're
my!
disgusting.
He's got the
What
voice
are
of
you
an
trying to
angel.
do? You know what? I better keep my mouth shut before I add fuel to the fire.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Look, he even grew his hair too. He's ready, guys.
Wolf,
Hey, I got the spritz bottle.
Wolf
Down,
is
boy.
Can we just can we let Humble say goodbye before we then jump off now? This is so disgusting.
Hello and welcome to our menagerie of wild. I hope everyone has a lovely day,
Well, since she
night,
says,
or whatever time you're on in that day, that time of hour.
well, I guess she moves fast since I didn't have to do an introduction. That's Humble Marty, the humblest of writers, right there, our resident mascot.
Hello. Bye-bye.
Come on, y'all know I can't. You guys know I would not be the wolf if I don't throw those curveballs. Trying to keep y'all guys on your toes. Y'all been slacking lately.
but trying to auction off Final using the street to find him a date. That's what you're doing.
Look,
Let
he's
Final
what,
find their
20?
own date.
Yeah.
Look, he's 20. He's 21. He's 21, hasn't drunk any booze, so he's healthy. He loves the Lord. He writes books. He reads books. He sings.
An aspiring
man.
storyteller, but yes.
But still, like, I'm just saying, man's got made. I just want to see some girls just fall on to him like a Jonas Brothers cover.
Oh my!
Disgusting.
He look like a distant relative to the Jonas Brothers. Don't y'all agree?
Oh my!
Anyways, this has been your Welcome in the Wu-Tang. Remind you guys that this song exists.